Hello, my name is Virgil Mayberry, and I'll be doing a short tutorial on vimscript within Vim, namely the execute function within vimscript. So for those of you who aren't real familiar with Vim, it is a text editing program that is really useful for powerful editing of text, especially code. And vimscript is a scripting language that's made for use within Vim itself. So here I am, I'm actually inside Vim editing a text document. The first line that you see there is an example of the execute statement. So if I type in colon, down at the bottom you can see I have a prompt going. And I can type in that first line, that execute, and it is an executable statement. So I'll walk through it real quick with you. The first word is a keyword, execute, meaning that we're going to execute this. And what that means is it's going to take the following string and parse it as an actual command and then run it as if it had been entered by the user. So that first word there, normal, is a keyword. That means run this in normal mode, as if that's the stock mode when you first turn on Vim. That's what it's in, is in normal mode. And the exclamation point means ignore any customized settings I might have in my vimrc when executing these next statements. And that's really useful because a lot of people have very different things in their vimrcs. So it's good to make sure that you're using the stock implementation of everything, so you don't have some weird, undetermined format coming out of your scripts. So if I just hit, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong line there. If I just enter this, it actually types it all out as if I had gone to a new line and typed in normal mode here. If I had typed in I and then hello, my name is Virgil. So it's really good for automation of things that you maybe something you do 5 or 6 or 7 times an hour, and you just want to you do it the same way every time, so you just want to automate it. So this is one example of such a function that I have. It's a function. It's written in vimscript. It's a valid syntax, and it is a delete trailing whitespace. So one thing, some people are very picky about trailing whitespace. Some programs get really thrown off if there's trailing whitespace. So I'll highlight it for you just so you can see what I typed in down at the bottom there. / \s, which stands for a space, and then that / $$ is a end of line. So we're looking for spaces at the end of a line, one or more spaces at the end of a line. And so you can see those yellow blocks are trailing whitespace that I have in my file, but I have it set up so it executes this trailing whitespace function every time I save my files. So I hit :W and hit enter, and when it saves my file, it deletes all trailing whitespace. And that's done purely in vimscript, and it's really helpful to automate some of those things that you do a lot and that are kind of mundane. You don't want to be worried about whitespace when you're trying to get your code pushed through for the week. So let's take a look at these. I have 2 execute statements in here. They're really simple. So again, execute, take the following string, parse it as a command. It's in normal mode, ignoring my custom vimrc. And this is as if I had typed MZ, which means bookmark the current line as the letter Z. And then it's going to execute this substitution statement. And then I have another execute command in normal mode, ignoring my vimrc. And 'Z means go back. So if I type MZ here, and here I type 'Z, it goes back to the bookmark that I called Z. And that's not really anything earth-shattering, but it's kind of nice. Say I have some white space here, and I'm up at the top, and I save it. It keeps my cursor where it was originally. I don't have to worry about my cursor jumping to whatever random line had some white space on it. So it's really helpful for that, and it's just automation, saving a little few keystrokes every day, make your life a little more pleasant. So here I have another one. It's really simple. really simple, very similar to the first one. Two more executable statements. Actually, this one's doing the same thing. It's just making a bookmark called I, and then we're jumping back to the bookmark. This function searches for this keyword, which is written in a foreign language to keep it from accidentally removing something that somebody typed in, and then it puts in a time and date stamp. So when I make a new C header file, I have a skeleton file that it automatically writes in there. I'll show it to you real quick. So this is my skeleton file. Actually, the last 4 lines aren't, but everything else is in my skeleton file. And you can see right here, it has a time and date stamp when I created this file. And it originally just contained the keyword, and that function went through and it removed this keyword and substituted it for a current time and date stamp. So it's really, really great to be able to automate your text editing. This one is a little bit more complicated, so it'll take a few minutes to go through this. So once again, this is a function called C prototype function. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the registers, but the at register is the undefined register. So anytime you copy or delete something, it automatically goes into this at register. So I like to save that just in case I was working with something. I don't like overriding my registers. So another execute statement, normal mode, ignoring my stuff. MA for mark the current line as the bookmark A. The YY will yank the entire line, copy the entire line. We're going to search for the word prototypes within the file that I'm editing, and then this \CR is the same as hitting enter, and then the close parenthesis is go to the nearest white space, or the end of the current paragraph. Sorry, end of the current paragraph. K means go up 1 line. P for paste. Capital A for insert mode at the end of the current line. Put a semicolon at the end, and then escape, and then jump back to where I started to, and restore the register that I saved. So this is going back to that C file that I have right here. So say I just typed in this function, and I need to prototype it. Well, rather than copy it, say you have a few hundred lines in here, it's no small feat to scroll all the way back up to the top, especially if you don't know exactly what line number it's on. So it's just nice to be able to I hit \PF prototype function, and it copies it up there and puts a semicolon at the end, and just makes my life a lot easier. Let me show you my vimrc where I have this. Here's another function I have. It toggles number lines. Here's the trailing white space function that we were talking about earlier. The timestamp, my prototype function. And so you have these. One of the most common places to run your Vim script is out of your vimrc. Some of these I have on auto commands. This particular one right here, the prototype function, I have it running off of \PF. So I type \PF and it executes these 2 functions. Anyway, so there's just a lot of things that you can do with vimscript. And the execute statement is a wonderful tool within vimscript to allow you to execute things exactly as if you had typed them. So, I put all these on multiple lines to make it more readable for me in case I want to change it up a little bit. But you could put them all on 1 line, and it'll just keep executing them exactly as if you had typed it in. So it's really good to be able to automate some of the things that you do in a text editor, especially when you're coding and there's certain things that you do, tons of times a day. Reduce the chance of those repetitive stress injuries and automate a little bit of it. Anyways, I hope you learned something. I hope this was educational. If you want to learn more, Google Learn Vim Script the Hard Way. Thanks for your time.